Yo, what's up guys? It's Xrayz and welcome to the top 10 scariest creepypastas of all time. So we're going to be counting down the top 10, and this is actually a really good one, so I decided to break this off into a two-part series. It's going to be numbers 10 through 6 in today's episode, and next week we're going to have number 5 through number 1. These are all really creepy, and they're all creepypastas that have been out for years. Some of them are just really scary and disturbing, so if you guys are easily frightened, then make sure not to watch this video. Now, last week we did the top 10 scariest video games, and now we're doing the top 10 scariest creepypastas. You guys left some comments in the last episode of what you guys thought was the scariest video game of all time. They're going to be on screen right now, but without any further ado, let's jump straight into our list. Starting off with our number 10 spot, and it's a creepypasta known as 1999. Simply known as 1999, this story is one of the most realistic and chilling urban legends on the internet. The tale follows the journey of a Canadian blogger named Elliot as he tracks down the meaning of a mysterious TV channel that he watched in the year 1999. He remembered it being extremely sketchy, and in hindsight he realized that it was most likely run by a local predator. He continued to investigate. He learned that the man running the channel was attempting to lure children into his house for sacrificial purposes. To top it all off, Elliot also realized that the crazed man was torturing and killing children while wearing a bear costume and calling himself Mr. Bear. There was only a couple of shows that aired on his mysterious channel, most likely because it was only operational from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. The first show was called Booby, and featured characters that were live-action hands on top of a table, which was obviously very low budget. The show starred a hand named Booby that would find itself in different situations every episode. However, the episodes got progressively weirder. In fact, during an episode entitled Playing with Scissors, Booby appeared to be holding a pair of scissors while another smaller hand was jerking violently in the background, as if it were being forcefully held in the air. Booby then proceeded to repeatedly stab the smaller hand with the scissors while a muffled children's scream could be heard. The scissors eventually got to the bone and made a horrific crunching sound. That was the last time Elliot ever watched an episode of Booby. Next up on the psychotic schedule was Mr. Bear's Cellar, which featured the mentally unstable man dressed up as Mr. Bear. What actually went on during the Mr. Bear episodes are too gory to describe. Eventually, the police intervened and shut down the sadistic TV channel for good. Moving on to our number 9 spot, we've got Candle Cove. The story starts off with a forum thread that talks about an old children's show from the 70s, which was about a little girl who imagined herself to be friends with pirates. The show had some controversy because during one particular episode, it showed every character screaming for the whole duration of the episode. All they did was literally stand in one place and scream, while the little girl moaned and cried like she had been going through it for hours. As memories of the show were shared back and forth between the comments on the thread, it became clear that beneath the show's cute and low-budget appearance, there was something dark and disturbing. By the end of the comments section, it was implied that the show was much more sinister than a half-remembered children's memory. As it turns out, one of the commentators got curious about the legitimacy of the show, so he asked his mother if she remembered a 70s kids show called Candle Cove. She was genuinely surprised that he remembered. Apparently, he would ask her for permission to watch it, then proceed to tune the television to static to watch a dead air for 30 minutes. Moving on to our number 8 spot, we've got The Rake. In 2003, in the northeast United States, there was an incident involving a strange human-like creature which attracted a lot of attention from local media. After the story initially broke, most online and written documents were mysteriously destroyed. Although these accounts were gone, sightings of the creature continued to become even more frequent. What's odd is that many people reacted differently to the creature. In fact, the emotions experienced ranged from traumatic levels of fright to an almost childlike sense of curiosity. The sightings continued, and so the hunt for the information began. Finally, in 2006, a collaboration of various researchers made a chilling discovery. They had unearthed nearly 2,000 documents dating from the 12th century to the present day, all of them describing various sightings of a creature called the Rake. A synopsis of it said, a woman awoke in the middle of the night and accidentally ended up waking her husband as well. She apologized and her husband turned around to look at her. He gasped and immediately grabbed his wife, fearing for her safety. At the foot of their bed, sitting and facing away from them, was the infamous creature which was described as looking like a big, hairless dog. While the couple's eyes were still adjusting to the dark, the creature sprang up and crouched less than a foot from the husband's face. It stared at him for a while, then made a dash for the children's bedroom. The terrified couple immediately ran after it, fearing the worst for the children, but they were too late. They ran to the daughter's room only to find her mutilated and close to death. As their daughter was dying, her final words were, "He is the rake." Then, as mysteriously as it happened, the rake disappeared, never to be seen again. Number 7 spot goes to Where Bad Kids Go. This creepypasta describes a photographer who decided to find out more about an old children's show that he used to watch as a child in wartime Lebanon. From what he remembers, the half-hour show relied on very graphic imagery and scare tactics to keep kids from misbehaving. He believes that the show was an attempt by the media to keep children in check, as the moral of every episode revolved around some strict ideology, such as bad kids stay up late and bad kids steal food from the fridge at night. However, the one thing that the photographer remembered the most was the closing scene of every episode. It was the same every time. The camera would slowly zoom in towards an old rusted iron door, and as it got closer, screams could be heard. The closer the camera got to the door, the louder and clearer the screams would get. When the screaming couldn't get any worse, an Arabic text reading, "That's where bad kids go," would pop up, thus signifying the end of the episode. Fast forwarding to the present, somehow the photographer managed to track down the studio where the old show was filmed. Although the place looked like it had been abandoned for a long time, the infamous rusted door from his childhood was still there. He then discovered that beyond the door lay a small room which was covered with traces of blood, feces, and bones. What scared him the most was a caged microphone which hung from the middle of the room. Moving on to the last one for today, we're going to our number 6 spot, which is going to be the keyhole. This legend involves a man who checked into a hotel for a few nights. After he obtained his room key, the woman at the front desk warned him that there was a door with no number on the way to his room. She explained that the locked room was used for storage, and she also warned him not to go into the room or even look inside. The man, although intrigued, went straight to his room without asking any more questions. But the second night, his curiosity got the better of him. He tried turning the doorknob but found it was locked, just as the woman had claimed. Not to be deterred so easily, the man proceeded to peep through the keyhole. Beyond the door was what looked like a normal hotel room, exactly like his own. However, in the corner stood a very pale woman with her head resting against the wall opposite to the door. Confused, the man returned to his room. On the third day, the man decided to look through the keyhole once more. This time, all he saw was a color red. Nothing else, just a constant deep shade of red. Maybe the woman had suspected that someone was spying on her and blocked it with something. The man decided that he would ask the woman at the front desk. She sighed and asked if the man had looked at the keyhole. After he confirmed that he had, the woman proceeded to tell him the whole story. Many years ago, she said, a man had murdered his wife in the very room, and her ghost now haunts it. Her ghost is said to be very pale, except for her eyes, which are bloodshot red. Anyways, guys, so that was our number 10 through number 6. I hope you guys enjoyed this top 10. We're going to be covering number 5 through number 1 in the next episode. It was going to be a little bit longer, so I wanted to make sure that I get through all of these. So this is part 1. Part 2 will be out in a week. Let me know if you guys are enjoying this, and of course, if you guys are enjoying this, let's get this video up to like 400 likes. If you get it up there, then we'll get this next episode out next week. But anyways, guys, thanks again so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this top 10 scariest creepypastas of all time. If you did enjoy it, make sure to slap a like and a favorite on the video. It does get it out there, helps the channel grow, and it lets me know you guys are enjoying this series. And of course, if you guys are new and you enjoy these top 10s, then make sure to check out my channel. A link is down in the description below. And subscribe so you guys won't miss a single video. But anyways, guys, until next time, I'm Xrayz, I'm out. Peace.